Now, Nelson, Nigeria had been embroiled in a fight with P&ID over a failed 2010 deal to develop a gas processing plant. What do you think about the entire, how far that the issue dragged and the ruling in favor of Nigeria? This is a case of $11 billion arbitration award against Nigeria. What's your take on it?
Well, thank you very much. The ruling of the property and commercial court in London has done justice to the fate of Nigeria and Nigerians. But sadly, it has also brought to the fore the dishonesty, the fraudulent nature of persons who have occupied our public office. Because we shouldn't have been here at all in the first place if those who were at the aim of affairs within around 2010 had been very honest, and diligent in their dealings with the country Nigeria with regards to this business transaction with P&ID. But sadly, we saw how they collaborated with these economic criminals to fleece the country of our hard-earned resources. But and we also saw that the judgment that was given in London also highlighted the fact that even the private arbitration that awarded the $6.6 billion to P&ID in 2017 was also obtained through fraudulent means. And the Nigerian side of the bargain has also been able to show that the contract itself was generated in fraud, was built in fraud, and was implemented in fraud. So this judgment, like we say in our normal parlance, is a Daniel comes to judgment for Nigeria. And Nigerians generally, we are very happy that we are going to put this behind us. And like some of your guests have already rightly said, that when a judgment is obtained under a fraudulent manner or under a fraudulent grounds, such judgments cannot stand. And that was exactly what happened to the $6.6 billion judgment that multiplied because of the 7% interest to 2017 and became about 11.5 billion. And that was why today the court in London has dismissed and quashed that judgment.
So what would we say the implications of this will be on the Nigeria's economy, both financially and economically? What would the implications be?
If the case had gone the other way, you and I know what the implication will be, because right now Nigeria is gripping under economic pains as a result of lack of resources to prosecute government responsibility. And that was one of the reasons that, gave birth to the withdrawal of the petroleum subsidy with the adverse economic effect on Nigerians. And as we speak, we all know the economic realities we are facing in Nigeria. So if we had to pay that amount of money, the implication on the Nigerian economy is better imagined. But thank God that truth, like we always say, if lies has traveled for millions of years, it takes just a second for truth to catch up with it. And that is exactly what has happened in this case. That the falsehood, the lies that has generated within that contract, even in 2010, when they signed that contract, and even before execution, you are already suing for breach of contract. I don't understand that manner of contractual agreements. I have never come across anything of such, whereby two parties have agreed to a contract. One has not even executed his own part of the contract. Is already alleged, and he has gone to court, and he or she was awarded damages. I can't rationalize it as a being. So the implication is that being saved this amount of money means that the Nigerian economy is going to get a big relief, from the damages that could have occurred if it was the other way.
I mean, this is a huge lesson to be learned for Nigeria. In your opinion, what steps would you say Nigeria needs to take moving forward to avoid falling into such...
Hello,
I can hear you. Can you hear us? Mr. Ekunjimi, can you confirm you can hear us?
Yes,
Mr.
I
Nelson?
can hear you now.
Okay, great.
I can hear you now.
Yes. So I was saying that this is a huge lesson for Nigeria to learn. Yeah. And in your opinion... Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
There are so many lessons to be learned. One is that we need to look at our public procurement, procedure as a country. Also, there's a need to review how our contracts are drafted or how we enter into contractual agreement. Then, three, there's need to make it more transparent by adopting technology. Because I listened to the Minister of Justice, who also came out and said even that contract for that engagement, that business transaction, didn't even pass through the Federal Executive Council. So you want to ask, how can Nigeria enter into a contract of such an amount for a national asset without it going through the necessary, statutory agencies for clearance? So it tells you clearly that some persons play the first one on the generality of the Nigerian people, and we need to put our eyes on the ball and ensure that we rejig our laws, we rejig our agencies, such that persons that will be occupying those offices are not persons that will sell away the birthright of their fatherland for pot of porridge, because that was exactly what happened. So we need to rejig our laws. We need to ensure accountability and transparency with regards to public accounting system, public business engagement.
All right.
So that any contract that does not go within these parameters becomes null and void, even if it goes to court. We need to put in place laws like that.
All right, Policy Affairs Analyst Nelson Ekunjimi, thank you so much for joining us on the news and sharing your own thought on the issue.